Will you even watch after the 9th pick when Chicago's done? Will you even watch?
Only if we trade down. If we trade down, I got to stay with it. But you know what happens if the Bears.
Don't worry about it. You'll lose some games here and there. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the NBA says fouls went uncalled in the Sixers-Knicks finish. Jaden Daniels says he wants to be the greatest running quarterback of all time. And Booger McFarland joins us to break down the NFL draft. But we begin today with NBA playoff action from last night. The Mavericks beat the Clippers to tie that series at 1-1. The Pacers drubbed the Bucks to tie that series at 1-1. And the Timberwolves were the only home team to win. They beat Phoenix by 12 to take a 2-0 lead in that series. Wilbon, which result did you find most intriguing?
I'm sorry, you're not going to start with giving me credit. I didn't get all three. I said all three road teams, but I got two. And the Suns look.
I'll get to that. When it's my turn.
So okay.
I'll get to that.
Tony, the one that intrigued me the most was Dallas beating the Clippers. And they had Kawhi Leonard back. There was some rust. He wasn't himself, and the others deferred to him, and that didn't work in this game. But you got to put him back in the lineup at some point, and they did. But, Tony, what got me was Dallas doing something the Dallas Mavericks are not known to do. Defending. He has gotten guys who had no interest in defense to say, Harden, Kawhi, Paul George, guard them, and we can do this. The Dallas Mavericks were in the Clippers. I don't know if they're going to win this series, but I like the transformation we've seen out of them defensively.
So I want to give you credit for picking all three road teams last night, and two of them won.
Yeah.
But if you go back to the tape on Monday, you will see where I said specifically Dallas would win and Indiana would win.
You did.
Just those two. So I believe I had that.
All
okay.
Right.
So what intrigues me the most? I'm not intrigued by Milwaukee losing because they don't have their best player on the court. And Damian Lillard, who you love, now has 0 points in the fourth quarter of two games. 0 points. I'm not intrigued by the Clippers losing because, honestly, Mike, I think that Dallas is a better team. Okay. I think the Clippers are aging, and I think they're overrated. And I would have made the same point about Doncic being a lockdown defender, which we've never seen before. So that leaves me to say that I am most intrigued with the way that Minnesota has handled Phoenix in 2 games now.
That's fair.
Yesterday, their turnover margin was unbelievable in terms of points off turnovers. It was 31-2. It
was crazy.
And I don't want to hear any more about their big three as if Bradley Beal is a special player. He's a guy who scores a lot of points on losing teams. He's never won anything. Last night, Mike, and I'll get out of here after this, their big three, 18 of 45 from the floor and 3 of 12 from 3. Yeah. So I don't want to hear it.
They weren't special, Tom. They were not. And Minnesota, like you said, really impressive, particularly defensively. I'll give you that on the Timberwolves. You know. Game 3 between the Knicks and Sixers isn't until tomorrow night, but we still have an aftermath to study from Monday's thrilling Game 2 to sort through. The NBA's last 2-minute report indicates that the Sixers were fouled at least twice without whistles on that last inbounds possession, both times for pinballing Tyrese Maxey, including knocking him to the floor. Tony, if you're the Sixers and you hear all this now, how would you feel?
So is this a trick question? Is there some hidden answer that I don't know about? When I stop talking, are you going to tell me what's going on? Because how I would feel is I'd be mad, I'd be outraged, and I'd want compensation. But there is no compensation.
No.
They're not replaying the end of that game. No. That game is in the books. And everybody who played sports ever understands how this works. Until you get to the point where you can stop the game right there and replay it right there, nothing is going to happen. It's Philadelphia's turn in a box. You know, that's how it works right now. Look, if I'm Philadelphia players, if I'm Philadelphia fans, maybe I take some comfort in hearing this, but I'm hearing it 48 hours later. It doesn't do me any good. I know this one thing. I don't want to be a referee in Game 3 in Philadelphia. I don't want that. I don't want that. And I'm going to go back to what I said yesterday. Don't miss the forest for the trees. The last frantic 30 seconds of that game was great. The ball was flying around. Players were flying around. Mike, I'm torn between wanting to get it right and wanting to have the visual experience of seeing a great ending.
Tony, I just wonder whether or not it's worth it, the effort of having transparency, and I applaud the effort. But when you have to do this and one team just looks wronged and you look suspicious, look, there's more conspiracy talks around in the NBA than all the other leagues combined. It's always been that way, particularly the last, 20 years. So if you're Philly, you're angry. But I like Joel Embiid's approach after that game. And I know he had his head down and he was so angry he didn't want to look at the camera. I get that because I get that way if I lose anything, especially to you on a golf course. Joel Embiid says, we're coming back home. We're winning these games. So get started with that. Let that anger be fueled and directed not at the people in the striped shirts, but the people in the blue shirts.
Says he would like to surpass Michael Vick and Lamar Jackson as the best running quarterback ever. Wilbon, is that something the team that drafts Daniels should want?
No, Tony, probably not. And I look, Baltimore is still figuring out how to balance Lamar Jackson's heroic running with staying in the pocket and getting it done from there. And oh, wait, Lamar Jackson's never been to this one thing that he wants to go to more than anything else, which is a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
All right? And Michael Vick never got close. So what's the goal? Is the goal to show your bag, which is all kids talk about now? His bag is deep. To hell with your bag. Do you want to win the games? Do you want to win in this league? Do you want to win at the highest level? Do you want to get to and win a Super Bowl? And Tony, I don't want to hold him too responsible for this because good coaching can bring the best out and suppress these other instincts. When people are guys of that age with his physical talents, they all want to show it off. Right? They all want to show you how deep their bag is. It's up to a great coaching staff if he can join a team that has that to say, hold on, Junior.